What's up, berserkers? Hope everybody's blessed out here today. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day in the United States of America. It almost seems like a third world country in some places around America, doesn't it? Seems like we don't have any laws or traditions anymore in some places. Kira, what are you looking at so intently over here? Huh? Yes, she's here. Of course she's here. She likes to lay over in the shade. Kira, what are you looking so intently at? Ain't nothing over here. Hope everybody's safe out here today. Remember the 18th nationwide No Kings rallies. Hey, Kara. What are you doing, baby girl? Hey. What you do, baby? Hey. Sorry, guys. I gotta tie my shoe real quick. I'm up here, guys. For those of you that texted me this morning, I'm here. Running a little late this morning. Let me tie my shoe. Hope everybody's blessed. We're here today for one main reason, and one main reason only. And that's to remember our brother Charlie Kirk. I know I said I wasn't going to start till 11:30, but some people texted me this morning. So we got signs out this morning. I got 3 or 4 extra signs for you guys that are about to show up. I don't expect a massive showing because it was really hard pressed for some reason in my so-called Republican town to even get people involved with this. They were all scared, and it kind of broke my heart, but you know, we are all. So I'll be out here for a few hours, maybe the whole day, who knows, you know, doing different signs, remembrance. Anyone that shows up, we're going to pray for you, you know. So I love you guys. I hope you're having a blessed day out here. Thank you. Thank you, guys. What's up? How's everybody doing this morning? Thank you for last night, by the way. The last live we did was absolutely phenomenal. We beat CNN by 10,000 views, and that was kind of nice. The concurrence, we need to work on that, but as far as view-wise goes, we're beating CNN right now, and we're beating NBC. So that proves that we're the majority of this country, because I'm a nothing nobody, you know what I mean? And I'm able to get that. So Democrats, you're done. This right here finished you. You know what I mean? This right here made it to where there's a lot of people out in town today too. So most people, sadly though, don't even know what today is. You know, most people don't even know what today is. Kara, why are you staring over there so heavy, baby girl? What are you doing? Oh, there's people. I see. You see people walking. How's everybody doing out here today? I'll continue to do it, no matter what they think about me or say about me or do to me, guys. I'll continue to do it. You know what I mean? I don't know what that smell where I'm protesting is right now, but holy fuck, this is the best smelling part of Port Charlotte I've ever been in. I think it's the car wash over there. It smells like coconuts and Hawaiian breeze. So understand, if you come out here, it's going to be a very sensory pleasant day as well. And it's kind of beautiful in Florida today. It's only about 80 degrees out here. It's only about 80 degrees out here in Florida right now. Still early, it'll get hotter, but we got a good live show for this evening when we get back. And we're going to go through some of the stuff that's been happening with the Charlie Kirk assassination, because boy howdy has there been all kinds of just weird stuff going on with this. Out of respect for Charlie Kirk, I haven't gotten into any of this conspiracy theory stuff. I would like to see the evidence and the proof of everything. But as we know now they're saying it's a possibility that this guy's not even the fucking shooter, which is insane, you know. So, love you guys. Remember, today was Charlie Kirk, would have been Charlie Kirk's birthday. That's why we're out here right now. Too many people seem to have already forgotten that one of the most serious political assassinations in the history of America in our lifetime just happened to one of the greatest of us, you know. So in the name of Charlie Kirk, we pray that all demons flee from these misguided children. We pray that you give understanding and peace to the world, Lord. In your name, we love you. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, for letting me be awake this morning. If you don't know, I'm fighting some pretty serious stuff right now. And, but that's what God wants me to go through at the moment, you know. Getting a little sweat in my eyes out here. Kira, will you come hold these signs for me? And I can go sit in the shade? That'd be great. Let's grab some drink of our coffee, guys. Let me answer some of your questions and talk to you for a second. As you know, my truck is a rolling billboard for Charlie Kirk right now. So you're mistaken Charlie Kirk for your side, Hunter Biden. I don't care what you people say about Charlie. He literally saved my life, and he didn't even know me that well. Yeah, the sun's a little brutal today. It's a little sweaty. It's 80 degrees. It's the UV rays that'll kick your ass out here, though. You know what I mean? So when I literally say that Charlie saved my life, he kept me out of prison, man. When all these leftists started attacking me, he would send me messages on WhatsApp after I met him. I met him at the Tallahassee rally when he was down here. I met a lot of other good people as well at the same time. I'm not saying me and Charlie Kirk were good friends, but I met him, and he took the time out of the most busy schedule on the freaking planet to WhatsApp me once a day with a prayer and good salutations and tell me that it's okay, that he's going through the same stuff. See, that's the thing. Those of you that have talked to Charlie on Telegram or WhatsApp or had private conversations with him, you know what he went through. You know what I mean? It was horrible. What we saw on a daily basis was nothing. He was getting death threats every day. He knew something was going to happen. You know what I mean? He talked about it many times. He set up specific contingencies. That's why the parents aren't speaking out and they didn't go to the funeral. He put specific stipulations in his will and in his life for his wife and his family. That's why they're being the way they're being. They're not being disingenuous, but as a Christian, Charlie Kirk made it very clear Erica has to stay out of the spotlight and keep the children safe if something happens to him. Because he knows that the moment that happened, God had already told him. Jesus has already let him know. You know, we have to take you, brother, because you've earned your place with the saints, and you're going to start a movement bigger than anything that could have ever been started when you were here in life. You know, so you stopped at the animal shelter. Okie doke. I'll see you in a bit, brother. So it's just insane that I don't feel like we've gotten justice for Charlie. You know what I mean? I don't feel like we've gotten any justice for Charlie. Personally, I don't see anything happen. I haven't seen a Charlie Kirk Act passed yet. We have all this propaganda and rhetoric coming from the news stations, you know, that paint Charlie Kirk as a horrible person, slander and defame the man out of clips that are taken out of context. You know, when the Steve Munt Act was abolished under Obama, what that did was it held accountable these news organizations that propagandize and lie to the American people, and it would find them out of existence if they did that. And then Obama abolished that so he can propagandize the children. And that's how that happened. That's why there's no accountability for the mainstream media. But there's a ton of accountability for us, you know, that are just regular influencers, actually giving the news and the fact and stuff like that. You know, so it is what it is. I posted, for those of you that think all these stop woke laws and everything went into effect, as a remembrance of Charlie Kirk, last night I posted all of the laws that have been struck down by federal judges under Ron DeSantis in the state of Florida. So all these Stop Woke Act, all these Section 230 bills, everything you think is in effect in Florida, it's not. It was all overturned by federal judges and deemed unconstitutional, just so you know. So we don't have any of those laws that Ron DeSantis espouses on TV. They never actually happened. So I posted that online for you. And I posted what the actual HOPE Act is too. I think Charlie Kirk would have been absolutely pissed off about the HOPE Act. It makes it where the cops, if they give you verbal commands, you can no longer record them within 25 feet of them committing constitutional violations or anything like that. So there's no more accountability in the state of Florida for tyrants. You know what I mean? You can't get audio, and if you can't get audio, it doesn't uphold in the court of law. So that's a problem. You know what I mean? And that's one of those laws that takes away freedom of speech that Charlie Kirk was talking about. He very much believed in transparency and everything being released, and that's what we need right now. I don't think the memory of Charlie Kirk is being handled very well. We're getting no transparency from this government. This is an important thing. Just come out and give us any information. You know what I mean? Tell us you have the bullet. So some of these speculations, can be put to rest and put to peace. Kash Patel, let us know that you for sure have the right shooter, because we know there's 200 plus people involved in this. We want to know what's going on as the American people. We want that pure transparency. Yes, y'all are doing press briefings every day. But Kash, when you do your press briefing, you don't actually answer the question. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I want to hear answers to what's going on with the Charlie Kirk assassination. It's been a month now. You know what I mean? Going on more than a month. We need answers. It's exactly a month yesterday. Exactly 1 month yesterday. It's a month and 1 day. We need answers. You guys have had quite a bit of time to put this stuff together. And if you're working on it as hard as you say you are, then we should have a ton of answers right now. We should know what's going on. But we don't. And that right there brings fear and animosity into any kind of party. When we're looking for transparency about all the people getting deported and all the Antifa members getting arrested. But we have no transparency on that. And that's all we want, guys. That's all we want. We want to know what's happening in our country, because we are the power of this country. We are this country. We, the people, are this country. Everything's not supposed to be classified. You understand that, right? Only if it has to do with national security is it supposed to be classified. But shit, they classify when one of our congressmen gets a friggin' speeding ticket. It's crazy. It's nuts. So the majority of our information in America is supposed to be under the Freedom of Information Act. We should be able to look this stuff up and find it. Well, I've been looking for any information everywhere I can, on every government website, on Homeland Security's website, on the DHS website, and I have not been able to find any statistics on how many people have been arrested or are under investigation with Charlie Kirk. All we hear from Kash Patel is that, yes, we know that there were numerous people involved, maybe hundreds at this point, but we're getting no answers. So these people are out here. You've released, where all these terror cells are in America. Why aren't you going after them? They're terror cells in America. We have a Muslim takeover in Dearborn, Michigan. This shit's illegal. Why are you allowing lower courts to pass unconstitutional injunctions that have already been ruled twice by the Supreme Court are unconstitutional, and you're still complying? I'm confused. Kash. We don't need to give a shit what any of these communists or terrorists say that want us dead. We're all getting massive death threats right now. None of this is calming down. It's just getting worse. Anyone that speaks like I do, or speaks like Tim Pool does, or speaks like any of us do, they're now calling Joe Rogan MAGA, bro. They're literally calling Joe Rogan MAGA and calling for his death. He's the least MAGA person on the planet, bro. He voted for Bernie Sanders. He supported the Democrats his entire career up until all this crazy shit started. You know what I mean? Joe sees what's coming. That's why he's telling us to let him stay. You understand that, right? I mean, he's getting death threats every day. He's not a political commentator. He's just a guy that makes good videos. You know, he has the most famous podcast on the freaking planet. He's just a guy that's into MMA and mostly into progressive politics. And you're calling him MAGA because he doesn't agree with you, you know? And even after he says, well, maybe we should let him stay because you're threatening his life. And that's not what he does. He's not into politics. So he's like, well, I'm going to bow out of this. You still threaten him and call him MAGA. Donald Trump gives you freedom. And for Palestine, you're in the streets calling for the death of Donald Trump. You're in the streets calling for the death of Donald Trump when you're getting what you want. You're getting what you want. You don't want government? He's shutting down government. You want freedom for Palestine? You got freedom for Palestine. You want a deal in Ukraine? He just announced last night he's making a deal with Ukraine. You know what I mean? So you're literally getting everything you want, and you're still mad. But now you're mad because you have to get a job. You assassinated the best of us, not for a movement, not for any kind of real statement, but because you were propagandized by terrorists and you wanted to make money. You're the purest form of evil there can be in the world. You know, you people. You're right, but we live in a constitutional republic, and if you don't vote and you don't get into politics, you don't know what's going on. And then stuff like this happens. Our country gets destroyed because people sit back and say, oh, well, we don't have to worry about it. Somebody will sweep in and save us. No, we're our saviors. The government's not the savior. The government is the mere politicians that have no authority over the people. We have inalienable rights under God, not under a government. Liberties are afforded to you by the government. We're a free country, you know, so understand that. Yes, it's now it's starting to bake out here. Yes, you were correct. Let me turn you around and look. This guy is just right in my butthole. Look at him. He's just like right there. No cloud coverage, no nothing. The sun's just like, woohoo! How you doing, everybody? So I'm gonna take me a drink of water since it's warm. And yes, thank you for noticing, by the way. I'm not smoking one cigarette after another cigarette after another cigarette. My stress is greatly reduced after you guys did that to me last week, because you made things better for me when you fucking threatened my finance company. You made things way better for me. So once again, everything you guys do backfire on you. No, this is more important than working right now. Maybe you should get a job telling me to go to work. You're in my comments. This is working. I make money doing this, you know? So, if you think that standing out here for 7 hours or 6 hours or 4 hours, holding a sign up nonstop the whole time isn't physical activity, then you should get out of your mom's basement and get some sun and get out here and move around. Very happy. You know, gay has nothing to do with your sexual orientation, right? The word gay literally translates to happy. It's got nothing to do with your sexual orientation whatsoever. I'm a very happy person. You're absolutely right. We're all happy on our side. We don't, I don't know, Tim Pool made $1.5 million doing this last year. That seemed like a pretty good job to me. Bringing the truth to America where the news can't do it anymore seems like a pretty good job to me. Pissing you liberals off on a daily basis and getting a smile about it and offending you and hurting your feelings seems like a pretty good job to me. You know? But you're right, this isn't my job. And I know you were in my live last night where you heard me say, I just finished the job site I was on and I've got limbo for 2 days before I start my new job site. So we're going to come out here and we're going to stand up for Charlie Kirk. People are allowed to have days off. You don't know what that's like, though, because you've never worked, you know? I don't work for people. I work for myself. You know, I can do what I want when I want. If I don't feel like going to work one day, I don't go to work that day. But if I'm on a job site, I work it until I'm finished it because I like to get paid. So I got 2 houses to paint next month. That'll get me through the whole month if I want it to. You know what I mean? So, plus my federal check at the end of the month every month. So, if we get paid this month, we'll find out. They don't know if they're going to be paying the military or not, but that's fine. As long as you want to give our money to illegals, I'll tell you this right now, we don't mind sacrificing until that's up, because you do understand we're going to get retroactive and back pay, right, guys? Donald Trump's already talked about it. So if we aren't able to get paid and are not able to work an agreement with Congress, then we will get retroactive and back pay. So we'll get double what we were supposed to. So that's fine. That's fine. I don't mind that at all, brother. I can get out here and survive until then. So it is what it is. But you can say whatever you want to about me. Look at me, and you probably look like a thumb. They are paying what? Pay me? That's all right. You're right. I don't get a lot of super chats. I don't ask people to give me money. All these other social media personalities ask people to give them money. Everything I do comes out of my own pocket. Everything I do. All these signs I make, all the markers, all the inks, all the everything. It all comes out of my own pocket. All the flyers I print up, I don't mind doing that. I don't do this for money. I do this because the country needs help. Why would you wait on a Doge check? I don't like Elon Musk, so you can't give me any kind of feelings about that. People tend to forget he used to go to galas with the likes of George Soros and AOC, wearing leather jackets that said "One World Order." You know, all you people tend to forget. All these people that all of a sudden, all at the same time, that were against us for 4 years, switched to our side just miraculously. And everybody wants to trust them all of a sudden. All these FBI agents that arrested us and violated our constitutional rights, all of a sudden, they're the good guys, right? No, they need to be held accountable for everything they did to us, for everything they did to these children that they trafficked into this country. Plain and simple. An oath breaker is an oath breaker. There's no redemption for violating your oath to office. You took an oath to protect the people, and you violated that oath. So that's the difference between me and you, Left. I can talk shit about my side. I don't give a fuck. If people don't like it, they live in a bubble, and I don't want those people around me. I don't live in a bubble. I don't fully agree with the right or the left. I don't agree with the left at all. That's communism and terrorism. But I don't fully agree with every Republican either. Because Republican doesn't mean patriot. I'm a constitutionalist. I'm a patriot. I believe in the Constitution. If we would just reenact the Constitution in the spirit it's supposed to be, like the Constitution says, none of this would be happening. Because the cops would uphold their oath and they would arrest you terrorists. And we wouldn't have, the only reason we have to federalize the streets is because the cops won't do their job. They're not upholding their oath. Every one of them should be arrested and in prison right now for violating their oath to office and terrorizing America. Every one of them. But they're not going to be held accountable. Their qualified immunity is not going to be pulled. Qualified immunity was a horrible idea in America. All it's done is allow our cops to turn into criminals. If you can find me one cop that can recite the first 5 amendments to the Constitution to me, I'll tell you he's a good cop. You find me one cop that doesn't say suspicion is a crime and that they can ID you just for suspicion and violate the Constitution, I'll say they're a good cop. You find me one cop that doesn't sit back and watch other tyrants violate the Constitution and do nothing about it, and I'll say we have good cops. You know what I mean? But in 2025, you can't find that anywhere. You can't find any cops that have any constitutional training. Instead, we've exposed the training they get here in Florida, and they're told that the citizen is a criminal until proven innocent. It's no longer proven innocent, or innocent until proven guilty. Now it's guilty until proven innocent. And that's not okay. We have to get back to the spirit of what this country was built on. We need to bombard our senators, our representatives, our president, and tell them, hey, we need to focus. Hey, what's up, buddy? We need to focus on the Constitution. That's how you fix this country. We need to hold the people that are violating the Constitution, allowing these laws to be committed, accountable, because once they're held accountable, other people won't allow these laws to be broken, and they will uphold their oath. It's just that easy. It's literally that easy. We fix the law enforcement because they're the ones that take your freedom. It's not the government that comes and takes your freedom. It's the enforcement arm of the government that takes your freedom and violates your rights. Do you understand? So literally the only way to fix this country is to reform the police departments. I don't want to defund police. We need police. I love the cops. I was the biggest backer of the blue all before all this shit happened. And then after the hurricanes, the cops literally told us to go fuck ourselves. No help when people were pulling guns and looting and rioting. They literally would not respond. They would come out, see a gun pulled, and leave. I've got it on video. You know, we can't have that kind of action. You know, and then we have sheriffs that are marching in political rallies and shit like that. We can't have that. You cops are supposed to be removed from everything. You know, there's a standard of professionality that you have to uphold to. If you're a cop and your feelings get in the way, fired immediately. Fired. We're not feelings enforcement in America. We're Constitution enforcement. Anything against the Constitution is illegal, so you're violating constitutional rights when you enact any state law that goes against anything in the Constitution. You take an oath to the Constitution. You don't take an oath to your sheriff. You don't take an oath to any man. You take an oath to the United States Constitution, and you swear to protect we the people. And that hasn't been done. At a rally that large that Charlie Kirk was doing, there should have been cops on the roofs. There should have been cops all over the place. He was our number 2 political speaker in the country. There should have been EMS on site for any event over 100 people. It's a requirement under health standards in America that you have at least 2 EMS on either side of the event and law enforcement. We didn't have that. We didn't have that really for Trump. You know, the ball is being dropped so heavily that it's fucking going into the earth and it's not bouncing back up. That's the problem we have. You know, and we're blaming it on politicians. It's not the politicians coming after us. It's the politicians ordering people to come after us. It's the ones that are saying we're just taking orders that are the problem. You know what I mean? So if we had cops doing their jobs, nobody would be rioting in the streets right now. You understand that? We wouldn't have people getting murdered in the streets. But we do. We do. I love you guys. I love you so much, I'm willing to tell you the truth. I'm going to respond to some of your comments. How you doing, buddy? I'm going to go sit by Kira, and I'm going to respond to some of your comments, guys. Because we're not obviously doing a normal live like we would normally be doing. We're out here and showing our support for Charlie and the family. Anything that comes through today, at Berserker Patriot on Cash App, at Berserker Patriot on Cash App. No. He did have security, but unfortunately, they weren't actually. They were just Class 3 security. He didn't, because they weren't prepared for being in war, and this is war. That's why things are being handled wrong. Murdoch Circle by Burger King, Port Charlotte, Florida. So the things are being handled incorrectly. What they need to have at this point are either mercenaries as their security, or they need to have some kind of static and mobile military private security. Not these freaking Class 3 people that say we can't secure your event. They don't have Overwatch. They don't have anybody flying drones over the events. They don't have any of that stuff. So what I want to know is, when are we going to get the video from the drone that was above the Charlie Kirk event? When are we going to find that out? You know what I mean? Because there was a drone flying over the entire fucking time. You can clearly see it, and like 20 different views. You know, there were 217 different cameras on that property that saw everything, right? In 8K. When are we going to get those videos? You know what I mean? So that's what I mean by transparency. Yeah, I get it. It's a large investigation. They're going after hundreds and hundreds of people and they're arresting them. And they just announced on their live this morning that they are now officially going after these leftists. So if you've posted anything on the internet, they have officially gotten enough subpoenas put together and enough information that they're now going after them. But we want to see this. What we want is we want a cop-style show that shows us what you're doing to these terrorists. We want you to record every bit of this shit, and we want to be able to sit back with some popcorn and a drink full of ice and watch this shit happening. Cash Patel, that's what we want. So, later tonight, what we'll do is I'll turn on members-only comments. So it specifically highlights your members-only comments. I'll go live from the computer. That way we can turn on members-only comments for you guys. And then those of you that don't want to deal with the trolls, you can just be in members-only. And that'll give you the ability to do some small types of moderation on the channel as well while you're in members-only. We're going to start the members-only lives here soon. I just got members launched, so we'll see how that works out. I did everything as cheap as they would possibly let me, because I'm nobody right now and we're just building. If I could let you come on members only for free, I would, my subscribers, but they don't give you an option for zero. The cheapest is like 99 cents. But you get a lot of good perks with that too. Remember, if you do level 2 or above, those badges that you build and the rubies that you get, go towards free perks on YouTube, like discounted merchandise. You get discounted merchandise from our websites, and you get free premium if you get enough analytic badges, whatever they're called. I'll go through that in my live tonight and show you all how that works. So, and we're going to have a members-only Discord coming up too, so you guys can go just hang out with each other, come together as like-minded people, talk with each other. You know what I mean? If you're just joining and you don't know what we're doing, I've been out here for about, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, been live for 30. We're out here remembering Charlie Kirk in the best way we can when we're poor, So I've been out here holding these signs all morning. I got a friend who joined me in a little bit here. He's visiting his wife. She works at the animal hospital. So I just hope you guys are blessed. And yes, I keep seeing the comments. She's right here. Yeah. I don't put her on a, she doesn't get chained up. She's free to do what she wants. She's not going to leave me ever. Oh, but don't be like Hassan Piker. Don't electrocute your dogs. Man, why isn't he in prison? What the heck, man? We did a deep dive on that last night, by the way. We zoomed in and cleaned up the image of the control panel that was on the desk. And then we pulled up the model number, and that was an absolute shock collar, not a vibration collar. So, yeah, that's the thing. So that was one of Charlie's biggest oppositions. That guy used to talk horribly about Charlie, and he goes live 10 hours a day. That's the only reason it looks like he has viewers. He's literally live 10 hours out of the day. You know what I mean? If he couldn't go live for an hour and get that many views like Charlie did, so none of these people get any of the views that people like Charlie and Steven Crowder and the people on the right do. You know what I mean? Like, Steven Crowder had 2 million people live the other night on Rumble. 2 million people concurrent live. So you're not beating us out in analytics. You're not beating us out in revenue on the internet. You're not beating anyone out. And, oh, you gave me a flick me off? You don't even look like you belong in this country, you pussy. I got my first flick off from the day. Of course, it was a female child that was like 18, 20, and usual suspect, brown person. I think it's hilarious. But as you can hear, overwhelmingly, we're getting nothing but support because we live in a Republican town. Oh, guys, let's get back to it. Sure be nice if y'all didn't steal that GoPro. I'd love to have that just hanging off me right now instead of having to hold this phone up the whole time. Yes, it's on both sides so they can see it both ways. I like to get up on top of my truck halfway through the day and just hold it. And then we are all Charlie Kirk here. And we got another Remember Charlie Kirk on the back. And then obviously this is on my truck 24/7. And then the window, as you know. So we're a rolling billboard, Billboard Baggins. Pretty slow day out here in Port Charlotte, isn't it? Not too many people out today. We'll be out here on the 18th, as usual, by the way, for the No Kings rally. We'll be out here standing up against them. So, see how that works. Hopefully I don't get struck down and banned for bullying and dehumanizing Antifa terrorists again when they surround me to attack me with fucking poles and I tell them I'll defend myself. Hopefully we don't get banned for that again. That's why I was gone for a week, the last week, because we went and did that big Antifa rally. We got banned for it. A lot of people's videos are getting demonetized and banned that are standing up against Antifa, but we're being told that social media is on our side now. You know what I mean? I've had videos banned with Charlie Kirk hashtag in them. You notice on YouTube, all the Charlie Kirk videos have seemed to have disappeared, right? But if you go on, it's weird because it's the opposite on TikTok now. You go on TikTok, you find nothing but Republican stuff now. You find nothing but Charlie Kirk stuff and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's almost like done a 180 on us. But I'm still on YouTube, and we're gaining fast. Berserker Patriot Store on Truth Social. The same as on here, Berserker Patriot Store on Truth Social. I just started my Truth Social back up. All of my social media back up. So, I love you guys. Just remember, anything that we're getting in that supports the channel is going strictly to building the channel, the content. You know, some of these people that you can interview out here want to be paid to get interviewed. So, stuff like that. That's what all the funds for this YouTube channel are going to. Build the channel until the channel is big enough to where, you know, we can do both with whatever happens in the channel. I'd like to be traveling around right now, going to these colleges and speaking to the youth about what they think about what's going on in America and what happened with Charlie Kirk. Have you seen the video? I'm going to shout this young man out tonight. We just asked him to be very careful. He's only 13, and he made this. His name's Charlie Brown. Look up 13-year-old Charlie Brown, Charlie Kirk message. They started a movement, these young men, called Where is Charlie? Check it out. This is going to be the newest youth, young youth movement. 13-year-old kids standing up. He was wearing a blue suit with a red tie. I thought it was wonderful. But I say again, young man, please be very careful. You have no clue the danger you're putting yourself in. You're far too young to understand the danger you're putting yourself in. So we need to surround this young man with love and prayer and patriots that are willing to keep these youth safe. It's what we need. What we need is we, the people, to show up at these rallies and help keep our brothers and sisters safe. That's what we need. Because clearly, nobody else is going to. You know what I mean? Clearly. Like, there's so many people not being able to do events right now because their security's telling them that they can't secure the area. Well, we can. There's thousands of us there. We can. It's very simple. Just be situationally aware. By now, why isn't every person at a Charlie Kirk, Donald Trump type rally looking at the roofs after what happened to Trump? Why isn't everybody looking at the roofs always when they go to these rallies? That to me was weird because not one person, everybody ran and nobody was really situationally aware looking for what was going on. You know what I mean? So that's what we need to get going on in this country is we all need to be a little more situationally aware about the situations happening around us. Pay attention. See if there's cars sitting and watching you when you're doing stuff like me. You know what I mean? Because you've heard them say it to my face. They follow me around. But they're not attacking you. and they're not actually committing a crime, so there's nothing that can be done about it. You know what I mean? These people are allowed to get out here and terrorize people, and there's nothing being done about it. You're saying, well, the law says, no, the law says we don't negotiate with terrorists, is what the law says. That's what the law of the land says. We do not negotiate with terrorists, ever. So, I'll come have a chat with you guys. We'll answer some more questions. Oh, I think that was a fly. That sucks. I think I just swallowed a fly. Okay, let my phone cool off for 2 seconds. And we won't be able to tell that kid. He won't be alive much longer. As soon as he gets in that state prison or that federal prison, that's all she wrote, buddy. Hey, don't insult monkeys like that. What are you chewing on over there? What is that? I think it's a, oh yeah, it's a piece of a stick. So I wouldn't have to go through Burger King's trash. All the people in there support me big time. If I wanted free food, I could walk in there and get it right now just by asking. Every week I volunteer in my community. I go clean up our canals without asking the county if it's okay. There's videos all over my social medias about that. Oh yeah, they are, Gary. It's okay though. It's okay. You got to remember though, they're all cuckold and they're pissed off about it, you know, because they're polyamorous. So none of them are monogamous with each other. Yeah, no, didn't work out the way they wanted at all. You see, I was completely demonetized for the past 4.5 fucking years. And literally the day Charlie Kirk got assassinated, Google decided to end our lawsuit and fucking remonetized me on the spot. And I took that as a sign from God that I need to be out here remembering the legacy of Charlie Kirk, you know, so. How are you doing today, Gary? How's everything going for you? No, you stop commenting. Get off my channel if you don't like me talking. It's literally what this channel is for, me to talk. It's my channel. Well, Trump's your daddy, so, Millennia, Trump is your daddy. You love Trump. You don't think he's the worst. You people love him. You can't stop thinking about him ever. Now, he didn't say we shouldn't have freedom of religion, and I read it to you right from the forefathers' mouths. It said you have to be a moral or religious person to be under the writings of the Constitution, under a heavenly body. Freedom of religion in the First Amendment did not stand for practicing all religions. We were strictly a Christian nation in the beginning of America, and we were not allowed to practice our religion as Englishmen in Britain. Okay, because Catholics and Jews did not allow Christians to practice their religion, so we fought a war to be free Englishmen, and also fought a war to free the rest of you. You're welcome. Nobody else did that. You're still slaves in other parts of the world, including all black countries. But, you know, I digress. And they made it very clear. If you'd like me to, now the Constitution's in the camper, but we'll read that on tonight's. I've proven y'all wrong on that many, many, many times. There was never, ever in the history of time, up until there were no Muslim churches in our country in 1920. Not one. None. You understand that, right? This is all new stuff. It's all new shit. 40 years, maybe. 40 years, 50 years we've had all these other religions coming into our country. We never allowed all these religions to come to our country and freely practice and do that. It's illegal to place any Muslim laws in our country as well. And Muslims are terrorists. and they've committed the ultimate form of blasphemy. And they hate you people. They want you dead. According to Surah 128, you've never read the Quran, Surah 128, you must eradicate all infidel from the planet before the end of times can come. You cannot convert to Islam. If you were not born of Islam, you cannot convert to Islam. What you can do is you can go put a suicide vest on for them and be propagandized as terrorists. And yes, I've lived in Afghanistan, I've lived in Iraq, I've lived in Egypt, I've lived in Muslim countries. You stupid children that know nothing about actual Muslim countries, they're terrorists, period. They hate you. If you're a Muslim, you have to believe that anyone that's not a Muslim is evil, because the end of times can't come until everyone on the planet is fucking eradicated. And the whole world is of Islam. That's why they keep saying there's going to be a Muslim takeover of the entire world. They tell you that themselves. Intifada, from the river to the sea. Eradicate all infidels from the river to the sea. You don't know what words mean. You don't comprehend definitions. It sucks for you liberals too. That's why they're so mad, because they're stupid and they don't understand things. That's why they get so angry and hurt people. That's what retarded people do. When they get upset, that's what these liberals do. You know what I mean? They act like big fucking retards. It's insane. Your feelings don't matter. The truth matters. See, to communists, feelings are the truth. You know what I mean? To communists, feelings are the law. To communists, feelings are what matter, not the truth. And they've said that to you right in videos. You can go back and watch them. They'll tell you, well, our feelings matter more than your truth. No. Truth and fact doesn't matter. Whatever. While you're living with your mommy, make sure she puts some din-din on that prepaid card for you tonight so you can eat. Make sure you get that money from mommy on your din-din card. Make sure she changes your diaper, because all you can do is shit in your pants and change your shirt, guys. You know. Stay away from those kids, though. Stop sniffing and biting those kids. I gotta put something up here that's gonna hold this damn thing up so it stops falling over. This Charlie Kirk kind keeps falling. Boom. No, it won't. I love you guys, though. I really love you. I love you so much, I'll tell you the truth of the matter. You know what I mean? If I didn't love you, I'd lie to you like everybody around you is, and I would affirm your sickness. These people aren't mentally ill. They use mental illness to keep them out of prison and jail, but that don't work no more, because you heard it right from the president's mouth last night. Anyone getting arrested for any of this terrorist vandalism, minimum mandatory 20 fucking years, and some of you terrorists are going to an El Salvador prison. Holy fuck. We love you, sir. We love you, sir. El Salvador prison. Nice little pale, white, pretty mouth boys going to an El Salvador prison where you're packed in 50 deep. That's going to be 50 dicks in your butthole at the same time, bro. Holy fuck. That's going to be, well, you probably like that because you're on the left. But I promise you, the way they're going to do it, you ain't going to like it. But that's what's coming for you. Well, see, the beauty of that is the 72,000 people and the 52,000 people that watched both of my lives last night saw it right from the president's mouth that that's what's going to happen. All of these people that vandalized and terrorized the Tesla locations, he made it very clear. It's a minimum mandatory of 20 years. And some of these other crimes, minimum mandatory of 8 years. They laid it out for you. The DOJ laid it out for you and lives. We'll replay that live tonight. How about that for you? We'll replay those lives that we did last night. They made it very clear. There's no mercy. And you don't get regular charges when you're a criminal anyway. When you're a terrorist, you automatically get minimum mandatories. That's the law. That's not Donald Trump changing that. That's the law. And when you're deemed a foreign terrorist, we don't have to put you in an American prison. You're a foreign terrorist. We can put you in any prison we want to that agrees with letting us send you there. Because Guantanamo is your option for America. I promise you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there. Yeah, a bunch of savage military motherfuckers in there. So understand that that's how that works. This is the way the law is going. And all of the judges are ruling like your judges just ruled that Donald Trump can federalize all the states. There's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. So he can send the military to the states. There's nothing you can do about it. You don't have any enforcement power. So what they do is they propagandize things. Like they get out in the streets, these terrorists get in these blow-up suits, which is the dumbest fucking thing ever, bro. Because all we gotta do is fucking mace the fucking back hole of that suit, and you're just in agony, bro. And that's what they're doing. It's fucking hilarious. Have you seen that shit? It's fucking hilarious. These people get in the streets, and then they spit on the cops, and they throw shit at the federal agents, and they try... Did you see they were trying to arrest the illegal the other day, and these so-called peaceful protesters attack the federal agents and help the fucking criminal alien get away. Why aren't you people coming together with me and going to these fucking cities where we can help these fucking federal agents? Don't be scared of these people. You know, we got to sacrifice right now, or our children are going to have to sacrifice. You understand that, right? If we don't sacrifice what we can right now, it's going to be left up to our children, and that's going to suck. That's the whole purpose of us fighting, is so our children don't have to. You know what I mean? I'm 43. This is my future. We got to worry about the next generation's future. We got to fix their future, because as of right now, they won't own homes. They won't have an economy. They can't run anything. They can't do any of this work that we do. Now, how many times do I have to tell you this? I've showed you the paperwork. When you sent the mental health facility and the FBI after me in 2020, they did a full workup on me for 3 days. And I got it on paperwork. I'm too smart for my own good. I can never qualify for any type of mental health programs if I ever got in trouble. And they deemed me legitimately sane. So, hey, you did that for me. Thank you. So when y'all call the cops and tell them all this shit and that I'm crazy and that I'm a terrorist, because of you, it's on file to have a do not detain order against me because I'm not doing these things. So thank you. All of this stuff backfires on you. You never read the story of the boy who cried wolf when you were kids, obviously. Never once read the story of the boy who cried wolf, because it didn't end up well for that person. You know? So, I forgot to put deodorant on before I left this morning. Oh, I love you guys, man. Thank you, Charlie Kirk, for everything you did and everything you're continuing to do in the absence of life. Charlie, we want you to know, brother, your legacy is being carried out. We want you to understand that a movement has been started that can never be squashed in America. We are taking this country back physically. Your sacrifice was not in vain, brother. We need you to understand that. Your sacrifice was not in vain. Charlie Kirk, because of you, there are no longer enough registered Democrats in America to win another presidential election. They might win some of these blue cities, but there's not enough registered Democrats in America now. Everybody's jumped ship. And that's a fact. You can look up the statistics. Trump just jumped up in the polls too, by the way. Went from that 45%. It's going on up after the peace treaty in Gaza. Y'all need to pay attention to that. We'll post those tonight too. They're going on here trying to say Trump has a 17% approval rating when he has a 45% approval rating. Obama only had a 42. Biden only had a 42. You know? So, and I'm overwhelmingly hearing people say Trump 2028. Even moderates. So you have no clue how far you've pushed this country. The fact that anyone would even consider a president having a third term shows how screwed our country is. You know what I mean? And technically it could be done because of all the collusion from the first election and all of the hindrance and all of the bullshit that happened. Technically, they could deem that an illegitimate administration and try to, there's a, what is it in the, I'll have to look at, there's an amendment for that though. I'll have to look it up tonight. I don't know it right off the top of my head, but there is an amendment for if collusion and treason were committed against a sitting president, and there was election interference, that they can deem a term, because there were 2 other presidents that did 3 terms for the same reason. I'll look up who they were. And then as far as the Insurrection Act goes, the moment they started impeding federal agents from doing their jobs, we were allowed to enact Title 10 and enact the Insurrection Act, which the first person to enact the Insurrection Act was George Washington. He fired the entire government, kicked everybody out, put people in fucking prison, and cleaned up the country. You know what I mean? So there is more history and tradition of that than any of these unconstitutional laws. And that's what we're going under. We're going under the original laws from 1809 and 1861 or 1863 or something like that. But we've posted all that. It's in our lives. I'll start going through my lives and clipping stuff. Oh, and thank you. I went through my analytics last night. Holy fuck. My last 2 lives got over 5,000 remixes and clips and shares. I haven't looked at the clips. It's probably going to be liberals clipping me, making it look like I said I wanted to go kill a bunch of people. But hey, they think they can make those clips and post them and then report you to the FBI, like the FBI is not going to go watch the actual video and get the context for it. Just so you know, liberals, it doesn't just work like you call the FBI and then they show up at somebody's house. It doesn't work like that. And our closest FBI field office is almost 100 miles from where I'm at. But you try. You sure do try. Yeah, well, I've got cancer right now, so it doesn't matter if I smoke. But thank you for worrying about me. And I've already beat it once. I won't go through chemotherapy again. I won't do it. The worst thing I ever did in life. I would never suggest chemotherapy to anybody. It changes who you are, literally, right down to your genetic structure. I'm going to have to... oh, wow, I still got almost a full battery. That's awesome. You love me. You absolutely give a shit about me. You love me. Look at you. Trail goat, you love me. Let's go to my top fan badges and see who loves me the most right now. At Tyrone Bigham. I used to call my puppy my big old Wiggums. Michael Hughes, J9D, Joshua, Corin, I don't want to pronounce it wrong. Joshua, at Joshua, 8723. At Chad, 0012459. At Somer and Owen, guys speak. Trump Train 769. The 769 is because everything else was taken up, wasn't it? I hate that. That's why all of my channels aren't Berserker Patriot Store, because my channels that got banned were Berserker Patriot Store, so they will not let me use my own trademark a second time to make a new channel with it. Isn't that fucking stupid? That's why some of my channels are Berserker Patriot 1776, like Rumble, at Berserker Patriot, and Berserker Patriot 1776. On Truth Social, Berserker Patriot Store. Oh yeah, 100% over. 100% over. I think if we get a couple more of these violent attacks that are massive by the trans community, I think we'll have enough to outlaw, just like Europe just did, to outlaw this ideology in our country. And we don't care what you say, so go ahead and talk all the shit you want. Terrorists don't get constitutional rights. You need to understand, terrorists do not live under the American Constitution. They're enemies of our country. Under the MCRA and MCA Act, passed by Obama, passed by your president, the moment you're deemed a terrorist against this country, you no longer have constitutional rights. So that's how the law works, just so you know. Terrorists don't get Constitution. I even posted it for you. It's on my site. It says you have to apply for habeas rights when you're deemed a terrorist. If you're deemed a terrorist under the MCA Act, you have to apply for the right to get a habeas hearing. And they don't have to give you that habeas hearing. You're limited to what rights you get as a terrorist in America. That's the way the law